Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's been about a year since I put out any content, but it's been a pretty busy year for me, and where things have slowed down over the winter, you're going to start to see more videos coming out. Anyway, moving on, we're doing the thermostat housing for this 2006 4-liter V6 Ford. As you know, this is a pretty well-known replacement. I've actually done this twice already. It's really not that hard of a job, but it's just kind of a pain in the ass, and I think when we do it this time, we're going to replace it the right way. You can see the leak down in here. It actually looks like it's leaking from where the sensor is, which would just be popping that out of there and replacing the O-ring. However, I think I want to do it right this time and just put a new aluminum housing in here. Not really worried about saving money, just want to make sure that I don't really have to get back in here and do this replacement in a year from now. The thermostat housing here was purchased from Rock Auto for about $38. And it's got the option for the single port sensor. This is the temperature sensor. There's other models with 2 sensors in them. This is the one I need. And they just cap off the other side right here. And I thought I'd replace a couple of the radiator hoses and this little elbow hose while I'm at it. Well, the heat is running. It is winter here in Maine. It's been going pretty consistently here, so there's really no way to avoid it. So let me just continue on with the tools list. You'll probably want a rag or two and maybe a roll of paper towels, some gloves. If you really don't want to get antifreeze on your hands, it won't hurt you either way. Flathead screwdriver, just for the hose clamps, an 1-pound torque wrench, 1/4-inch drive ratchet, a couple pairs of pliers depending on your situation, an 8mm socket, 1/4-inch drive, and some coffee or beer depending on the time of day. Alright, we're going to jump right in. First thing you're going to want to do is disconnect the temperature sensor and then disconnect this coolant hose here. Let's get started. Now that we got that loose, this is a great time to tell you that you should probably have some type of drip pan or catch pan underneath, just to collect all the antifreeze. That way you don't want it to run down on your garage floor. And the next thing we'll do is disconnect this upper radiator hose with 2 hose clamps here. If you need a little more room while you're working, you can remove those 3 10mm bolts where the upper thermostat housing is. At this point, you can remove the hose clamp down here and just slide it back a little bit. If you're replacing that hose, much like me, you can remove your serpentine belt and remove this idler pulley here to be able to access that lower hose. Okay, so I skipped ahead a little bit, but basically to loosen your serpentine belt, it takes a 3/8 drive and the tensioner is down here, and you just push it this way to loosen it. And to remove the idler pulley is just a 15mm socket, and that's pretty self-explanatory. Anyway, moving on, we're going to go ahead and remove the 3 8mm bolts here connecting the thermostat housing. You can pull the bolts out now if you wish to. That sounds like it's going on the floor. There we go. There. Something like that. And then you can just pull it out like that. All right, at this point, I'm just gonna clean up the surface here with a razor blade and try to suck a little bit of this antifreeze off the top of the block here. Other than that, it should burn off pretty quick, but you don't really want the antifreeze sitting there. It's just gonna smell. It's not really safe to be dripping outside and stuff. That lower hose can be a pain in the ass to get out of there, especially if it's been on there for so long. I mean, look at this one. And this is the Ford replacement, so quite a difference there. So just take your time. I recommend getting those squeeze clamps and just removing them completely, and then stick your fingers down in the hose, wiggle it back and forth just to break the seal, and then you can kind of wiggle it on up out of there. Okay, so got some alcohol down there, a nice application of some red high temp RTV. Something like that should do the trick, I hope. And I also removed the upper part of the thermostat housing just to get a little bit more room and clearance while I navigate this into position. All right, so I went underneath the wire cluster here. Thread in your bolts. And tighten them down to 89 inch-pounds. There it is. There's that one. And just recheck them. Okay, remember when you're done, always take your torque wrench and set it back down to 0. Okay, stand by. I'm gonna do this off camera. All right, finally got the clamp on. Try to line it up to where it was before. Just like that. And then this guy we gotta slide down and make it a little convenient for when I replace this hose. It's accessible at least. Okay, plug in your sensor. Oops, the other way this time. All right, 15 mil. All right, and 35 foot-pounds for the idler pulley. There it is. Okay guys, at this point, with the belt back on, I just have to put the top thermostat housing on and get the new radiator hose in place. Alright. That looks better. Before I fill it up and check for leaks, the first thing I like to do is just let the RTV dry. Let the RTV dry. That's good. That means we got a nice snug fit down in there. You can see it kind of squishing out the sides. I'm pretty confident that is not going to leak. Okay, it's been overnight here, the next day. I've let the RTV set. Actually, according to the directions, you're supposed to apply it, give it an hour, and then torque the bolts down, and then let it set for 24 hours. So I didn't do it correctly per the instructions, but I don't think we're gonna have an issue here. So we're just ready to fill up the radiator here, get some coolant in the lines that leaked out, and start it up and check for leaks. We're actually at 148,000 here. So at this point, I have the vehicle running. I got the heat up, the fan on high, and I got the heat turned up quite a bit. And we're just gonna check for leaks now. No leaks detected. Nice warm air coming through the vents. The thermostat's working great. Well, that about does it. That is a thermostat housing replacement for a 2006 Ford Explorer 4-liter. And we'll see you on the next video. Thanks.